everyone. Hello, everyone. Satsang at Astrology here. And I am this time going to speak about Mars in Gemini, because Mars will stay in Gemini for a long time, going retrograde. And I would like to do an overview, kind of an introduction about what it means, Mars in Gemini, and what it means for Mars to be retrograde as well. There, I will show the charts of the ingress in Gemini and the charts of the stationary retrograde and stationary direct, so you have an idea of where in the chart is happening. And you can locate also any planets that you may have, personal planets or outer planets that you may have in Gemini, and see if they will be affected. As well as I will show you the major aspects that Mars will make with the Sun, with Venus, with Mercury specifically, because Mercury is the ruler of Gemini, and then the other planets as well. So you will see a complete overview of what is going to happen in the chart astrologically when Mars is in Gemini. And I will share my presentation with you with a screen share. I will show you my presentation. So Mars will be in Gemini since August 20th, which was yesterday, in fact, to March 25th, 2023. And Mars in Gemini is like, the squirrels. Have you seen the squirrels play around and run around in your backyard or somewhere in the park? So that's the kind of activity that Mars brings to Gemini, right? Here and there and everywhere, and going up and down and side to side. And so movement, Mars will bring a lot of movement to the sign of Gemini, a lot of activity, an increase of energy there. And it's very interesting what is going to happen, because Gemini is an air sign, is a sign of social connections and activity and communication and relationship with other people and exchanges and deals, right? Gemini is ruled by Mercury, so Mercury is the dealer maker, and so it's going to be a lot of movement. And I know exactly what I'm talking about, because I have my natal Mars in Gemini, and that's the way I am. So doing things from morning to the time I fall asleep in my bed, I am constantly moving and doing things and making connections and thinking, and my mind goes on all the time. And that's the way Mars in Gemini is. So it's not necessarily aggressive, but it can be very witty and very fast, fast words, and very witty, as I said. So there is an increase in the stimulation in social activity, connections with other people, either through communication or movement, or even mental and intellectual perceptions, exchange of or antagonism of opinions, and that may give way to polarities and polarizing people more, and getting in conflicts, right? Because what one person says is very impulsive sometimes, and very Mars is not the planet that is altruistic, is more egocentric, right? Because it rules Aries. And it could be also very intense because it also rules Scorpio. So we have here a combination of fire, impulsivity, and air, which brings up, increases the fire, right? Air increases the fire. So there will be a lot of activity between people, especially siblings, friends, neighbors, people who are close to us. It's also a sign, Gemini, of skills and how we acquire skills, right? Is the natural third house of the zodiac, and is the time when the toddler starts using his or her hands, right? And so it starts opening containers, closing doors, opening doors, and handling things. So Gemini is very attached to the hands and all the hand skills. So everything that is done by hand is going to be stimulated by Mars. So there is going to be a lot of manual activities and manual skills that will be developed, right? So it could be good for the manufacturing industry and for making crafts and making art. It could be artistic abilities that are acquired through practice. Gemini rules the hands, the arms, also walking, right? And as soon as Mars yesterday started in Gemini, and it's fortunately trine Saturn. Saturn has been hurting my health because it's transiting the sixth house. So now I discovered that I can walk and I can do my physical exercises without much discomfort. So I started walking in the neighborhood, right, which is also Gemini, and walking more in the neighborhood where I can do short walks, right, for now. But I also went to a neighborhood park, and so walking will be also stimulated. Is a Gemini activity. So hands, legs, walking, and also communication devices and the internet as a tool, the internet as a device or a technology, right, of communication will also be more active, and there could be aggression, right, in the communications, and your phone may be ringing off the hook, and all the communication devices like email, mail, regular mail, even the regular mail could become more speedy because of Mars in Gemini, right? Except with the certain transits that we will study next. So, and also the nervous system could be stimulated, hands and lungs. And don't forget that Mars is also irritation, inflammation, fevers. So there could be very hot hands, right? It could be inflammation or congestion in the lungs. So it could be a coming back of respiratory problems. Maybe because, as I said, Mars inflames, inflammates the respiratory airways. So careful with that, and make sure that you have a humid environment when you have congestion, to help the heat in the lungs, and to alleviate the symptoms. And of course, if needed, go see the doctor, right? So next, I will show you the dates. This is the ingress in August 20th, which was yesterday, as I say. I'm filming this on Sunday, the 21st. And this is the chart for the ingress. And here, I think the most important are the sun and the moon. Here, the sun is applying to the square that will be perfected at the Virgo new moon. And I recommend you to look at the box below the video, because I have a video on the Virgo new moon that I already published, and you can take a look at that to see the first square the sun and the moon make to Mars. So now we have also the moon in Gemini. This is an emotional stimulation to the sign of Gemini. So I think that the whole cycle of Mars, since this is the start, right, at 0, will be very emotional. So the speech, the communications will be very passionate and very, you know, the people will be very invested in what they speak and what their opinions are. So it will be a very, very passionate time. And the square to the sun can give egocentric, you know, this is me, and about me, and first me, and then me, and last me as well. So it's also the sun is separating from the opposition to Saturn, so it is in some way detaching for that restrictive influence, and is also in quincunx with Neptune. So we still have operating here the Uranus North Node conjunction is separating, but let's see, we have a semi-square to Chiron, and we will see the other aspects later. So let's go to the stationary retrograde at 25 degrees 36 of Gemini, October the 30th. And the retrograde period will last 74 days. So this means that it's going to be an extraordinary time for Geminis. Definitely Gemini rising and Gemini sun could be affected very strongly, but also all the immutable signs, Sagittarius, Virgo, and Pisces as well, because it makes it will be in the angles, either whatever angle it falls in. Like mine, it falls on the 10th house on the MC. So and exactly on the MC for this retrograde session of Mars. So this is the stationary retrograde chart for Mars. Here it is, and as you see, there is a stellium in Scorpio, which is in conjunct as well as the moon with Capricorn, with Pluto in Capricorn, it makes it again more intense emotions, right? And we still have Neptune in separating square, right, with Mars, and Jupiter is retrograde. So we'll see the aspects later on. Here is the Mars is the trailing planet, which is the planet that is the last aspect the planets make to Mars. So it's going to be, as I said, a lot of movement, and then all this part of your chart will be empty, which makes the focus on Scorpio, Capricorn, Pisces, and mainly Taurus, of course. So, but this is interesting because of the overpopulation near the north and the south node, right? So here we have Venus with the south node, and Venus rules the north node. So finances, love, relationships, and social life will be changing things, transformation of those. And Mercury, which is also the ruler of Gemini and the ruler of Mars, is in Scorpio, which adds the emotional intensity of it, and also transformation of ideas, and very forceful, right? Because Pluto ruling Scorpio makes it for an intense transformation of ideas. So then stationary direct will be January the 12th, 2023 at 8 degrees 7 or 8, depending on what ephemeris you use. So, and this is the chart for January 12th. So here we have Mars, and it is having several aspects, right? But we have the moon on this side of the nodal axis, and we only have Uranus and Mars on this side. All the other planets are on the other side of the nodal axis. So we are building with Mars and the moon, and we are kind of in a crunch with the other planets, right? I will now address the transits, because the very first, let me go to, go here. Okay, the very first aspect that the Mars makes is at 0 degree Gemini. It's a semi-square with Chiron, semi-square. So this is kind of a start of healing, of some kind, but with a delay. So a semi-square is, yeah, you try to do something, but it won't happen. It probably won't happen until later on. So semi-squares are triggers, and it forces you to do something, but it doesn't give a result immediately. So it's kind of a false start. And it will go back to a sextile 13 degrees in February next year. So, but I want to go back to the sun. So here are the aspects that makes to the sun, starting with a Virgo new moon, right? And in August, and all these aspects are when Mars is direct, right? The D means that Mars is direct. And interesting enough, it will be squaring Mars in March, right? When Sun is in Pisces, this is in March, it's the other square, right? The closing square. Whereas this first square in August is the first quarter square, the crisis in action. And as I said, it could be a time of some egocentric emotional outburst and like a temper tantrum that this is my idea and I am not moving, right? So that could be, or it could be triggering. It could trigger a questioning of some position, opinion, or idea. So then it makes a trine in October, and the other trine, the closing trine, it will be in January. And the opposition will be, of course, in Sagittarius, 16 degrees in December. So the opposition will be very interesting because it's like having the ego here and the ego there and clashing, right? So the sun in Sagittarius looks for the big picture, whereas Mars will be entrenched in the local environment, and they will need to rebalance, right? So the most important will be the squares and oppositions. However, you may track the other aspects if they touch any of your personal planets, right? Your natal planets. So the moon here, I only put the moon aspects during the stationary retrograde time, because the moon during the whole moon cycle of October and November will be at Mars will be at 25 degrees, as you see here. So the moon will be going around the zodiac for 1 month, and Mars will not be moving much because it will be at 25 degrees planted there from October 22nd to November the 4th. So as you see, the first quarter square is at 25, October 22nd. The trine will be at 1024, opposition 1029, trine 11.2, and square 11.4, and then there will be the conjunction. But I don't think the conjunction is at 25. I think Mars will already be 24. But as you see, the whole moon cycle from October to November is in Mars will be at 25 planted stationary. So I think that it will be very emotional time, considering that here in the United States is the midterm elections, and there will be very antagonistic positions of people, from, you know, extreme right to the other side. And I mean, a very complicated politics in the United States. So this moon going around and aspecting Mars the same degree will make it very emotional, very passionate. So let's advance. Mercury aspects are very important as well, especially the hard aspects like squares and oppositions. Why? Because Mercury rules Gemini. So keep into account that it will trine also at 25 degrees, while Mars is still direct, but not moving much, right? By the end of October. And then the opposition will happen in Sagittarius, and Mars will be retrograde already. And then it will happen again in February, and Mars, the trine and the square, when Mars is direct. So D is for direct and RX is for retrograde. And I had to double and triple check these dates and degrees and everything, because I will explain why. So Venus aspects, and Venus, as I said, these aspects with Venus, especially the hard ones, are very important. Why? Because we still have the nodes of the moon in Taurus and Scorpio, which are respectively ruled by Venus and traditionally Scorpio by Mars. So so I think these Venus aspects are important for that reason. And they happen the square at 14 Virgo, the trine at 24 Libra, opposition 18 Sagittarius, and these are the dates. The trine at 8 degrees in January, and the square 11 degrees in February. Again, D means direct when Mars is direct, and RX when Mars is retrograde. So with Jupiter, it only makes one aspect, and it happens pretty soon, in about a week or so, 10 days, and is September 1st, and it's a sextile at 6 degrees. So make sure you use it in a positive way, because it flows very easily. A sextile is an opportunity. However, Jupiter may expand this movement, this extreme activity and passion of Mars in Gemini, and it may result in an exaggeration of ideas, communications, and everything that I explained at the beginning, right? So with Saturn is, I am so grateful that it only makes a trine and 2 times, right? Once direct 19 degrees, and another one 19 degrees as well in November, end of November. So I'm so happy that it only makes a Saturn trine to Saturn, and there will be another trine when they move both, you know, Saturn moves to Aries, and Mars will move to Cancer. No, in fact, it's going to be a square. No, it's going to be in Pisces, another trine in water. So yeah, later on, when Mars comes out of Gemini, it will make another trine, this time in water. So it will be different, but Mars and Saturn as a trine is fabulous to do things that last, and it gives you the strength. It gives you the endurance and especially to do intellectual work. For example, if you are publishing, if you are writing, if you are communicating, it gives you this impulse of the strength and the structure that you need to do things, right? So it is fabulous. I love it. I really love it. So I already spoke about Chiron, and it makes next year in February a sextile, which is very positive, because a sextile makes for great efforts, in this case intellectual efforts, mental efforts, like learning, for example. Whereas the semi-square is kind of a false start, but the sextile gives you the opportunity to learn something that will be healing for you, or to study, or to teach, right? Something that will to teach a course, or to study a course that will be healing for you. So it is good. So now we have a semi-sextile with Uranus, right? And this could be very innovative, ideas, and the discovery of something really out of the blue, inspiration, and revelations, and eureka moments that can be stimulated. The mind and the intellect will be so much stimulated that people, scientists, or environmental scientists, or people who work with the earth, because Uranus is in Taurus, right? We can have new developments to cope with the earth problems that we're having, to do something, right, about taking care of the earth, and reverting the effects of climate change, for example. So this semi-sextile is very productive, even though they don't see each other because they are so close, but it's like is the similar to the semi-sextile with Chiron, in fact. And it could give ideas and ideas in action, right? Especially within the local environment, actions that you can do with your neighbors, with your friends, in order to take care of the environment, right? During my walks, morning walks in my neighborhood, there was a neighbor who was with a bag collecting the trash from the street, from the edge of the street. So I got the idea, and I do it also myself. Okay, so Neptune aspects. Well, now we are entering kind of more dangerous territory, because Mars in square to Neptune is not that positive. So there could be, breaches of information, data. There could be hacking, hacking the internet, and hacking the technological systems that take care of communications. There could be problems with short travel, problems also with bridges. Gemini is also bridges. Anything that connects is very Geminian, right? Anything that makes connections, like the telephone, bridges, or any kind of communication media, social media, TV, etc. You already know. But at the same time, if one can use it in a positive way, here we have the opportunity to work on AI reality, right? And making movies or making images that make believe, right? Like the movies and film, that is very innovative. So that could be activities related to movie making. And also the artists that work with their hands and do, for example, sculpture. It could be sculptural creations and anything, any art that can be done like a craft, you know, with your hands. So not so much music, right? It's more music is more ethereal, you know. But this is Mars is physical, right? Is any art that is more physical. It is good for swimming, for example, for competition, swimming competition, or any water sport. That's very good. So if you're going to use this for those purposes, make sure that you are safe, that you take the safety precautions, because it is a square after all. So, and they square at 23 in October, at 22 in November, and 25 in March next year. And again, direct, this is about Mars direct and Mars retrograde. So I didn't write Neptune if it was retrograde or direct. This is about Mars. Okay, so now we have the only aspects that it makes to Pluto is a sesqui square, sesqui quadrant. So it is 200 and let's see, 200. It's 60. I forgot how many degrees, but a sesqui quadrant is 90 and 45. So it's 135. Okay, so 27 of Capricorn and 27 of Gemini. And this is, let's see, 27. Oh, I think I have a mistake here. Okay, I had to go and see the chart. Yes, it's 135 degrees, right? 369 and 120 and 132 plus the 3 here is 135. So it's okay, 27 degrees. So let's go back to our presentation. Here, okay. So yes, Pluto makes a sesqui square at 27 Capricorn. And this is kind of a difficult aspect, because any action taken, it has a delay, right? There is a square, and then there is a semi-square. So we have a delay in the results of the action. So you can make it, make something, right, that is transformational. However, it will take more time. It may not give the results immediately. Okay, so this is all about the It's all about the aspects. Let me stop the share now, and I will review something about the houses, right? Because this stimulates, as I said, everything that is movement, that is social activity, the nervous system, as I said, and the intellectual activity. It can increase also the learning, right? The learning process. It could be more active. Your mind may be more active, but it could also bring arguments, especially when it's in opposition or square with Mercury, for example, or with the Sun. But it can also, with a square to Neptune, it can increase the fake news, and people may take action on false premises and knowledge that is incorrect or intentionally deceptive. So Mars is action. So Mars may go to the streets, for example, and protest for some ideas that are not true. And we have already seen this in the United States, people, promoting and divulging and publicizing and sharing information that is not true, and fighting for it. So it could be that people will fight for false premises, and that will create definitely conflict between brothers and between friendly countries as well, between neighbors and between brothers and sisters, between friends that have been very loyal so far, and all of a sudden they start fighting because one of the persons had those false ideas, and then they defend them even with force, right? People may go to the streets to defend physically their ideas, and that could be a big problem, creating conflicts and even physical, another thing that I was thinking, I didn't want to say it, but Gemini is also elementary learning, elementary schools. So there could be arms brought to the schools, like arming teachers, for example. Gemini also rules teachers. So there could be teachers being armed or required to bear arms. It could be students taking arms to the school, to the elementary school. And unfortunately, at least in the United States, these school shootings may continue. It's very unfortunate, but there is this possibility, especially with the square to Neptune. Hopefully, the trine to Saturn will help to control that in a natural way. So I pray for Saturn to be good to us. And then in fact, I'm joking, of course, I don't pray to the planets. But what I mean is the energy of control, restriction, regulation will be harmonious with Mars. So that will help in a way to restrict that kind of aggressions. At least when those aspects are active, right, and exact. So there could be breaks in the bridges, or breaking bridges, that's figuratively and physically. but there could be also the building of bridges. For example, in Ukraine, many bridges were destroyed by the Russian attacks, and there could be rebuilding of the bridges now. As you saw in the chart of the Ingress, Mercury was in Virgo, and Virgo is the sign of the sign that finds the problems, but as well as repair and fix problems. So I think that Mercury will help Mars to fix whatever problem Gemini has or comes up with. And what else? Transportation in the local area, local transportation may have changes as well. And there could be accidents, but as I said, since Saturn is in trine, I hope it's not too bad and people will restrain and refrain themselves from speeding, for example, and obeying, so they will be obeying the laws of traffic. This is not about long distance travel. Remember, Gemini is just moving around in your town. But as I said, the mental activation may be you may become irritable if you don't put your mind to good use. So try to learn, manual skills, or do some craft if you feel irritated. If you work, for example, in communications on the phone, or you do videos, or publish, or write, or speak, you will have a lot of energy to do those tasks, and this could elude the aggression. If you work intellectually very much, then you won't have energy to dispute other people and cause but once triggered, you may become witty and aggressive, verbally aggressive as well, if you are triggered. So in general, be careful of lies, deception when Mars squares Neptune, and that will be the words of caution. But in general, I think that Gemini will be very, very active house for you wherever it is found. If it is your 10th house, for example, you will have a lot of work at work, and especially intellectual work. If it is your 11th house, then it will stimulate your earnings, for example, and you will be thinking about your dreams for the future, your plans, your goals for the future. If it is your 12th house, you may be stimulated to stay home, and or if you work in the hospital or a prison, you will have a lot of work in the hospital. If it is your first house, then you yourself will be a bundle of nerves. If the second house, then you will be working a lot to make money, right? And you will work a lot on building your self-esteem, for example. If it is your third house, then it will be a lot of work with your friends, your siblings. Hopefully you don't fight with them, but you will be a lot of you will have contacts in your neighborhood with people around you, and you will have a lot of communications. I mean, email, mail, phone conversation. It will be off the hook. If it is your fourth house, then you will be working a lot at home. right? Maybe writing at home, maybe walking a lot at home. And if it is your fifth house, well, your children will be very active, super active, and blah, 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 blah. They will talk a lot. If it is your sixth house, then you will be gathering a lot of information and working on your routines, making plans, doing a lot of information about your health, for example. And in your place of work, there will be a lot coming and goings. If Gemini is your seventh house, because you are rising as Sagittarius, then your partner will be very active, hopefully not aggressive, and maybe a lot of sex for you with your partner. And if it is the eighth house, well, you will undergo a lot of transformations and maybe surgery, who knows, right? Because Mars also is surgeries. Um, Surgeries, the lung or the hands, right? Or what else? Well, hopefully you don't need surgery, but if it is, it could be in the hands. In the ninth house, then your activity will be about learning or teaching about foreign cultures, even traveling around in a foreign country. If you go to a foreign place, you will be traveling close, you know, to the place where you go, and making contacts with neighbors and talking a lot. And hopefully you don't get aggression there, or you are not aggressive to them. Also, changes in your belief system, for example, learning about a new belief system, since Mars is all new, right? So those are the influences for different houses. I hope that you can contact me for more information. Here it is my contact information, my social media. If you like to follow me, I write a blog at satsangat.astrology.blogspot.com, and I am on Facebook with the red rose icon. And here's my email. If you like to write to me in order to get a reading or to ask a question. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.